My name is Amanda Gonzalez, and I'm 29 years old. I never thought my quiet Sunday brunch would become the day my entire relationship unraveled right in front of 8 strangers holding champagne flutes. It started like any other morning with Timothy. He was humming to himself in front of the mirror, fixing his hair like he was about to walk a red carpet instead of a restaurant. "It's a big day," he said, grinning. "You'll finally meet my crew." His crew. I'd heard plenty about them, Troy, Alex, Jenna, and the rest, his so-called inner circle from his marketing firm. Timothy was proud of them, the way some men were proud of trophies. He said they were like family. I wasn't sure if that was supposed to make me feel comforted or replaceable. He had insisted on this brunch for weeks. "It's an upscale spot," he said. "Reservations take forever. I want everyone to see how great we are together." At first it sounded sweet. Now standing in front of the mirror, adjusting my plain beige dress next to his designer jacket, it sounded like something else entirely a performance. The restaurant was stunning. Glass walls, marble floors, waiters in crisp white shirts balancing towers of mimosas. Timothy waved at the hostess. "Reservation for Johnston," he said proudly. Then he turned to me, tapping my hand. "Babe, you put your card down for the tab, right? It's just easier that way." I hesitated. It was his reservation, but I didn't want to make a scene. "Sure," I said quietly, handing over my card. We sat at a long table, Timothy, me, and 6 of his friends. The chatter was instant and loud, like I'd walked into a scene already halfway through the script. Troy, sitting opposite, was the loudest. "So this is the famous Elena," he said, eyes gleaming. "You're even prettier than your photos." Timothy smirked. "I told you guys she cleans up well." My stomach sank, but I smiled politely. The first hour was fine, small talk jokes, endless champagne refills. Then Alex started talking about his breakup. "She was too controlling," he said dramatically, "always checking my phone." Timothy chuckled. "Man, I get it. I told Elena from the start I need my space. My Thursday nights are mine." Troy laughed. "Still doing those Thursday nights out, huh?" Timothy grinned, raising his glass. "Of course. That's healthy. Keeps the mystery alive." I froze. He was talking about those nights he said were work events. I swallowed hard, keeping my expression neutral. Timothy leaned back loud enough for everyone to hear. "You know what's funny? I asked her once who she was texting late at night. She got all sensitive. His friend Jenna tried to diffuse it." "Oh, don't pick on her, Timothy." But he wasn't done. "No, seriously. She acts like she's calm, but she can be dramatic. One time she asked me why I liked a model's picture at 2 a.m. He laughed, turning to the table. "I told her, babe, my DMs are like a VIP club. You got in, but that doesn't mean you own the venue." The table erupted in laughter. I sat there silent, slicing through my eggs Benedict while my heart pounded. Timothy, already tipsy from his 4th mimosa, leaned closer to Troy. "Women these days, man. They think they can cage you. Please. I could replace myself before dessert if I wanted to." "Replace yourself?" Jenna frowned. "Don't you mean replace Elena?" He smirked. "Whatever. Same thing." The laughter came again, louder this time. Troy slapped the table. "She should be lucky to have you, bro." Timothy nodded. "Exactly. I tell her that all the time. She should be grateful. Do you know how many women would kill to be sitting here with me?" I looked up, grateful, I repeated quietly. Timothy turned toward me, still smirking. "Obviously. You know how many girls slide into my DMs every day. Models, influencers, real women with options. But I chose you, babe." Something inside me shifted, not anger, clarity. I looked around the table. Troy was sipping his drink, Alex pretending to check his phone. Jenna looked at me with something almost like pity. I smiled softly. "You're right," I said. Timothy blinked, caught off guard. "What?" "You're right. You could have anyone." I pushed my chair back, stood up calmly, and reached for my purse. "Wait, what are you doing?" he asked, his laughter faltering. I placed $60 on the table. "That covers my meal and tip." "Elena, sit down. Don't be dramatic." I leaned closer, lowering my voice just enough for him to hear. "You said you're independent, right? That you don't need anyone." He frowned. "Yeah. So, good, because the reservation's under your name," I said with a small smile, "and I'm removing my card from the tab." He blinked, confused. "Wait, what are you—" But I was already walking toward the hostess stand. The hostess looked surprised when I explained, but she nodded politely and returned my card. I thanked her, walked out, and sat in my car, parked across the street. Through the glass wall, I could see Timothy laughing nervously, trying to keep the conversation going. Then the waiter approached with the next round of food and the bill. I watched it unfold like a slow-motion movie. Timothy's confident grin fading, his hand fumbling for a card, the waiter shaking his head, his friends exchanging awkward looks. Jenna reached for her purse, then stopped when Timothy muttered something. Troy looked away. One by one, they started leaving the table. Timothy was alone. My phone buzzed. Elena, this isn't funny. Come back. Another message followed. You're acting crazy. Then, please, I don't have enough on my card. Just come back. I turned my phone face down. Inside the restaurant, the same man who bragged about being irreplaceable was arguing with the waiter, face-flushed pride slipping away with every minute. He called me 5 times, then a 6th, then a Venmo request for $400 with a note, not funny, pay now. I declined it. For a moment, I almost felt guilty but then I remembered his words echoing in my head. You should be grateful I chose you. I wasn't grateful anymore. I was free. Through the glass, Timothy looked smaller than I'd ever seen him. Not the charming man I met 8 months ago, but a boy who'd finally run out of other people to perform for. He pulled out his phone, shoulders tense, and started dialing, probably his father. I started my engine. For the first time in months, I didn't feel like background noise in his story. I was the one leaving. And the best part, he never saw it coming. When I woke up the next morning, my phone looked like a crime scene. 37 missed calls, dozens of messages, and a single Venmo request sitting like a flashing warning light. From Timothy Johnston, of course. You humiliated me. You owe me for the brunch, Elena. You made me look bad in front of everyone. Then 2 hours later, I overreacted. Can we talk? I stared at the screen, sipping my coffee in silence. The apartment felt unusually calm, without his voice filling the space, bragging about his next brand collab or his new gym routine. For months, I'd let him take up all the air in the room, but now there was peace. I didn't reply. By noon, I got a call from Jenna, the only person from that brunch table who had looked uncomfortable when Timothy made his jokes. Her voice was low, hesitant. Elena, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for what happened yesterday. That wasn't fair to you. Don't apologize for his behavior, I said. No, you don't understand, she whispered. You should know what happened after you left. And that's how I learned the rest. Timothy had tried to play it cool when I walked out pretending I just went to the restroom. Ordered another round of mimosas to prove he wasn't shaken. Then the server brought the bill, $487.40. His first card declined. Then his backup card also declined. He tried to joke about it, Jenna said, sounding almost sorry for him. Said the chip reader was broken. But the waiter tried 3 times. Troy and Alex started whispering. Then Troy said he had to take a call and left. Alex followed. I could imagine it perfectly, Timothy, all that charm and swagger, draining from his face as each friend found a convenient excuse to disappear. Who paid, I asked. Jenna sighed. No one. He called his dad. Of course he did. Robert Johnston. Wealthy, intimidating, the kind of man Timothy was both desperate to impress and constantly resented. He showed up 20 minutes later, Jenna continued. He was furious. Yelled loud enough that people turned around. She lowered her voice, imitating his tone. You're 27 years old, bragging about women lining up for you, but you can't pay for brunch. I almost smiled. Robert always struck me as cold but practical. He must have seen right through his son that day. After that, Jenna said, he threw his credit card down, paid, and told Timothy to grow up. He didn't even look at the rest of us. Just said, enjoy your influencer life, and walked out. Thank you for telling me, I said quietly. Elena, she added softly, he's been lying to you for a while. My stomach tightened. What do you mean? Those Thursday nights he said he was out with work friends. Yes. Well, he told his actual coworkers he couldn't hang out because he had date night with you. I blinked. Wait, so where was he? Jenna hesitated. At hotel lounges. Alone. Letting women buy him drinks, Alex told me. He bragged about how easy it was to get attention if you dressed right and acted mysterious. Said he was building a roster. The word hit me like a slap. Roster. That's what he called his collection of women he flirted with, like it was a hobby. He said it was harmless, Jenna went on. That he wasn't cheating. Just keeping his options open. I let out a small laugh, sharp and humorless. Keeping his options open. Right. Elena, I think he's unraveling. After you left, he started blowing up everyone's phone, saying you stole his card info, that you embarrassed him on purpose. Did anyone believe him? Not really. Kyle, my boyfriend, actually told him he got what he deserved. That surprised me. Kyle was Timothy's gym buddy, loyal almost to a fault. If even he had turned, Timothy's golden boy reputation was cracking fast. Thank you, Jenna, I said. Really. After we hung up, I sat there for a long time just listening to the quiet hum of my apartment. Every memory of Timothy felt different now. His endless networking nights, his secretive phone habits, the way he'd turn his screen away whenever a message popped up. It all fit together like puzzle pieces that finally made sense once you stopped pretending the picture was perfect. That night, he showed up at my door. A knock first, then pounding. "Elena, open up. We need to talk." When I didn't answer, his voice softened. "Please. I messed up, okay? I said stupid things. But I was drunk, you know how I get." I opened the door halfway, keeping the chain locked. He looked disheveled. Dark circles under his eyes' hair, messy, the usual designer jacket replaced with a hoodie. "I just want to explain," he said. "That brunch got out of hand." "Explain what?" "That you humiliated me for sport." His jaw clenched. "You made me look like a fool walking out like that." "Timothy," I said quietly, "you did that all on your own." He scoffed. "You're being dramatic." I almost laughed. "You said that yesterday, too." He ran a hand through his hair. "You know I love you, right? I was just trying to impress my friends. They tease me for being whipped." "Whipped?" "Yeah, like you control me or something. I had to show them I'm still my own man." I stared at him, stunned by how easily he could justify cruelty. "You think insulting me makes you your own man?" His expression twisted. "You're overreacting again." That was the moment I realized there was no version of this where he took accountability. He wasn't sorry. He was embarrassed. "I think you should go," I said. "Elena, come on." I closed the door. His fist hit it once, then again. "You'll regret this," he shouted. "You know who I am online. You think people will believe you over me?" I didn't answer. I just stood there, hand on the knob, until his footsteps finally faded down the hall. Later that night, my phone buzzed again. Not from Timothy this time, but from Danielle, one of our old mutual acquaintances from a startup event months ago. Her message was short, but chilling. "Hey, I don't know if you're still with Timothy, but you should see this." Attached were screenshots. Messages from Timothy to multiple women. Flirty, manipulative, all signed off with the same line. "I'd love to see you Thursday night if you're free." Thursday nights. Danielle added one more message. "He's been asking women for money. Small amounts. Gas, groceries. Always promising to pay them back." My throat tightened. Timothy wasn't just flirting, he was hustling. And from the looks of it, he'd been doing it long before that brunch. Somehow I knew this was only the beginning. By the next evening, it wasn't just my phone lighting up, it was my entire sense of reality. The screenshots Danielle sent had started circulating. Quietly at first, in private group chats, whispered between friends of friends. Then louder. Someone had posted them on a local gossip forum. The headline read, "Influencer Timothy Johnston caught juggling women for money, gaslight king of downtown." It spread faster than wildfire. By midnight, his perfect image, the polished gym selfies, the luxury brunches, the motivational quotes, was being picked apart post by post. And yet the man himself had no idea. Not yet. Because he was standing at my door again. This time his tone was different, desperate, shaky, almost human. "Elena, please, just let me get my things. I have nowhere else to go." I stared at him through the peephole for a long moment. He looked rough. No fake smile, no camera-ready charm, just tired eyes and a hoodie that hung off him like it belonged to someone else. I opened the door halfway, keeping my phone in hand. "Your things are already packed." "What?" "Your clothes, your shoes. I boxed them up this morning." His eyes darted past me. 3 suitcases and 2 boxes were neatly stacked by the entrance. "Elena, come on, you can't just—" "I can," I said calmly. "The lease is in my name. You've been living here as my guest for 4 months." He took a step forward. "You can't just kick me out." "Timothy," I said quietly, "you humiliated me in front of 8 people and then lied about me online. I don't owe you a roof." His jaw tightened. "You're heartless." I almost laughed. "No, I'm finally done playing your audience." He stood there for a moment, breathing hard. Then his tone changed again, soft pleading, manipulative. "Babe, please. I didn't mean those things. I was trying to look confident. You know how I get when I drink." "You also know how to delete messages," I replied. He froze. "What?" I lifted my phone. "Danielle sent me your screenshots." A flicker of panic crossed his face. "That's not what it looks like." "You told 3 different women you were single," I said, "and you asked all of them for money." His expression shifted: guilt, then anger, then something else. They misunderstood. It was a joke. "You asked one of them for $100 for groceries. You live with me." He opened his mouth, but I didn't let him speak. "You weren't looking for attention, Timothy. You were looking for donors." His nostrils flared. "You're twisting this. You've always been jealous." I blinked, stunned at how fast he flipped the script. "Jealous?" "Yeah. You couldn't handle the fact that women liked me, that I had charisma. You wanted to control me, Elena." Control. The same word manipulators love. I stepped back, my voice steady. "You need to leave." He didn't move. "You wouldn't dare call the police." I opened my contacts and tapped Robert Johnston. Timothy's eyes widened. You wouldn't. Watch me. I didn't even need to hit call. The bluff worked. He stared at me for a few seconds, lips trembling. Then he grabbed one of the boxes, muttering, "You'll regret this." Maybe I said, but at least I'll regret it alone. When the door finally closed behind him, the silence that followed wasn't peaceful, it was hollow. Because even after everything, part of me still wanted to believe he'd once been good. That night, I scrolled through my phone for hours. Posts, comments, messages, everyone talking about Timothy Johnston. Half of the people were mocking him. The other half were defending him, saying the screenshots could be fake. But then a new message appeared in my inbox. From Robert Johnston. Elena, this is Robert. I'd like to talk. Do you have a minute? For a second, I hesitated. Then I called. His deep voice came through, tired and heavy. I owe you an apology. I frowned. For what? For my son. I know what he's been doing. I stayed silent, unsure what to say. He told me you kicked him out, Robert continued. He said you drained his account, locked him out of his own apartment, and embarrassed him publicly. That's not true, I said flatly. I know, he replied. I checked. He's been lying for months. He told me he was working in marketing, but the firm said he hasn't been on payroll since January. He's been pretending to have a job living off credit cards and women. I exhaled, including me. Yes, Robert said quietly, including you. I've paid off his debts too many times. This time he's on his own. There was a long pause before he spoke again. Elena, he needs help, but until he hits bottom, he won't seek it. I understand, I said softly. I just wanted to thank you, Robert said. You did what I couldn't. When the call ended, I set the phone down and stared out the window. The city lights looked softer that night, like everything was finally dimming down to something real. The next morning, the gossip posts multiplied. Someone had leaked Timothy's group chat, the one where he bragged about his roster of women. Each woman had a nickname. The nurse, the real estate girl, the accountant. That last one was me. Every word was proof of who he truly was. The bragging, the lies, the mockery. He'd been performing for an audience all along, even when I thought we were alone. And now that performance was over. The curtain had fallen. But what I didn't know yet, what none of us did, was that the show wasn't finished. Because Timothy wasn't done performing. He was about to rewrite the story. And this time I was going to be the villain. The first sign that Timothy was fighting back came 3 days later through Instagram. A photo of him crying in a car, mascara streaks, and all. Yes, he actually wore concealer and tinted balm captioned, "When you give your heart to someone who destroys your reputation in one brunch." The healing hashtag men have feelings too. It had over 200 likes in an hour. The comments were exactly what he wanted. Stay strong, King. She doesn't deserve you. Another gold digger exposed. He'd twisted the story, made himself the victim. I didn't respond, but the next day he went further. He uploaded a TikTok, eyes red, voice trembling. I was tricked into paying a $500 brunch bill. She humiliated me in front of my friends, took my card off the table, and left me stranded. That's financial abuse. No man deserves that. I watched it once, jaw clenched. He'd practiced every pause, every quiver in his tone. The comment section was split, half calling me names, half calling out his theatrics. Still, I refused to engage. The truth didn't need defending. It only needed time. And time, as it turns out, was all it took for everything to collapse. That evening, I got a message request on LinkedIn from someone I barely remembered, Danielle's friend Chris, a software engineer I'd met once at a conference. Hi, Elena, random question. Were you dating Timothy Johnston? I was. Why? Then you should see this. Attached was a screenshot of Timothy's DMs to several women, all similar messages, all sent within days of each other. He told each woman he was newly single, struggling after a toxic relationship, and needed help getting back on his feet. And every single message included the same line, "You're not like other women." I can feel that. Chris added, he messaged one of my colleagues too. She's married. Her husband's furious. That got my attention. An hour later, my phone buzzed again, unknown number. A deep male voice answered when I picked up. "This is Patrick Lewis. You don't know me, but you might want to hear this." I froze. Patrick, the husband. My wife showed me the messages your ex sent her. He knew she was married. He didn't care. His voice was shaking with anger, not sadness. "I'm an attorney, Ms. Tran. I'm considering filing a harassment suit for emotional distress. I thought you should know, in case he drags your name into this mess." My stomach dropped. "He already has," I said. "Online. Then we'll handle it together." For the first time, someone wasn't accusing me, they were standing beside me. That same night, another call came in. "Robert Johnston." "Elena," he said, sounding heavier than before. "I told Timothy I'm cutting him off. No more money, no credit cards, no bailouts." "Good," I said quietly. "He told me you drained his accounts." I let out a bitter laugh. "He's unbelievable." "I know. I checked. He has 3 maxed out cards and a car payment he hasn't made in months. He's been borrowing from women pretending it's for business investments. I was silent for a moment. He's addicted to pretending he's someone important. Robert sighed. He used to be a good kid, you know. Thought the world owed him success. Now he's drowning in the illusion of it. I didn't know what to say. I almost felt sorry for him, almost. Robert continued. He posted about you again. Said you were emotionally abusive. I've already called him. Told him if he keeps lying, I'll make a public statement. That surprised me. You'd do that. Of course, Robert said. You didn't ruin his life. He did. That call stayed with me for days. By the weekend, Timothy's lies started falling apart faster than he could rebuild them. A friend sent me screenshots from a private group chat, the same one where Timothy bragged about his roster. Someone in that chat had leaked everything. The bragging, the manipulation, the petty jokes about me. And the worst part, the messages asking for money from women he barely knew. Within hours, the screenshots were everywhere, reposted, retweeted, stitched on TikTok. The caption on one viral post read, "Remember that guy crying about being financially abused? Turns out he's been scamming women for cash." The comment section flipped. The same people who had called him king were now calling him creep. By nightfall, he deleted all his posts. His follower count plummeted from 50,000 to under 30,000 in a day. The next morning, I woke to another message from Robert. He's packed his bags, heading to his mother's. I told him not to contact you again. He needs to face the consequences. I typed back a simple reply, thank you. When I set the phone down, I realized my hands were trembling, not from fear, but release. For months, I'd lived under the weight of his charm, his chaos, his constant rewriting of reality. Now the world saw the version I'd always known. But karma wasn't done with Timothy Johnston yet, because the internet never forgets, and neither do the people he used. And one of them was about to make him pay in a way no lawsuit could. When the universe decides to humble someone, it rarely whispers. It roars. By the following week, Timothy's entire digital empire had crumbled. His influencer brand deals vanished overnight. The men's lifestyle page that once filled my feed with curated gym shots and self-help quotes was gone. Sponsors pulled out. Even his friends, the ones who laughed with him at brunch, unfollowed him to save face. But the internet wasn't done with him yet. A new account appeared on social media under the name @ReceiptsOfTimothy, run anonymously. It began posting screenshots of his private DMs, his roster logs, payment requests, and flirtatious messages to dozens of women. Some dated back over a year. Each post had thousands of comments. He asked me for gas money too. He said the same line to me. You're not like other women. This man's entire life is a copy-paste template. The account exploded overnight. Within 48 hours, he'd lost another 20,000 followers. Then came the final blow. A short video leaked Timothy arguing in public with his father, Robert Johnston. Someone had filmed it at a cafe downtown. Robert's voice thundered across the table. You've embarrassed this family for the last time. You used people, lied to them, and made a mockery of your name. Don't call me again until you learn what integrity is. Timothy tried to reach for his phone, probably to delete the video, but it was too late. The clip was everywhere. The comment section was merciless. Daddy cut off the credit line. From influencer to infamously unemployed. Play stupid games, win viral consequences. It was poetic, terrifyingly poetic. Still, part of me couldn't help thinking about the man behind all that arrogance, the one who once kissed my forehead while making morning coffee, who laughed at my bad cooking, who called me his lucky charm. Had any of that been real? I didn't know anymore. Then one night he texted me, Timothy, Elena, please. Everyone's turned on me. I lost everything. I need to talk. Me. There's nothing to say. Timothy. Please. I'm sorry. I just need someone who still believes in me. Me. Then you're out of luck. That person doesn't exist anymore. He called after that twice. I didn't answer. The next morning I woke to a long, rambling voicemail. His voice was hoarse, almost unrecognizable. Elena, I don't know what happened. I just wanted to feel important. Everyone online looks perfect, you know. I thought if I acted like I was, people would love me. But I went too far. I know that now. I can't fix it, but I need you to know I didn't mean to hurt you. There was a long pause, then a soft laugh that sounded like defeat. I guess I finally know what it feels like to be replaceable. Click. I sat there for a long time, listening to that silence between his words. It wasn't forgiveness, I felt just clarity. Timothy wasn't evil. He was hollow. A man who built his entire identity out of reflections, hoping someone else's admiration would fill the void. But no amount of attention could replace authenticity. Later that afternoon, Jenna called again. Elena, you're not going to believe this, she said, half whispering. Timothy's been blacklisted. Blacklisted? Yeah. The restaurant from the brunch. They put his photo at the hostess stand. It literally says, "Please verify payment method before seating." I actually laughed out loud. You're kidding. Nope, Kyle saw it. Said the staff calls him Refund Timothy. I covered my mouth to hide my smile. For once, karma had a sense of humor. But Jenna wasn't finished. He's trying to find work, but no one will hire him. Every interview Googles his name and sees the receipts. He's doing delivery runs now for some app. Delivery runs? Yeah, borrowing his mom's car. Apparently he's back living with her. That image stuck with me all day. Timothy, the man who once mocked people for having average lives, now driving around with cold takeout in the back seat of a secondhand car. There was something poetic about it, something full circle. That night, my phone lit up one last time. Another message from him. I saw you with someone new. She's pretty. Basic, but pretty. I hope you're happy. I'm doing fine. Mom's apartment has character. I make $200 a day now. I don't need anyone. But if you ever want to talk, I still love you. I stared at it, then quietly hit delete. I didn't reply. Because the truth was, he was right about one thing. I was happy. And not because I found someone new, but because I finally remembered what peace sounded like. A month later, I did meet someone, Nathan, a writer I bumped into at a small bookstore downtown. He was kind, soft-spoken, a man who listened more than he talked. No followers, no curated life, no hidden agenda. Our first brunch together was quiet, easy. No phones, no audience, just us and sunlight through glass. When the check came, I reached for it out of habit, but Nathan stopped me gently. Let me, he said. You got coffee last time. It was simple, honest, equal. And in that small, ordinary moment, I realized something profound. Love isn't about being chosen out of a lineup. It's about choosing peace over performance. Timothy once said women lined up for him. Turns out they did. They all lined up to leave once they saw who he really was. That $487 brunch bill, best investment I ever made. 6 months later, I walked past the same glass-walled restaurant where everything began. The sunlight hit the marble floors the same way the servers still carried towers of champagne, and laughter still spilled from the tables like nothing had ever happened. But everything inside me was different. Timothy Johnston had become a ghost story, something people whispered about, but didn't quite believe had happened. That influencer who scammed women for money, they said. Didn't his dad disown him? I heard he's doing delivery runs now. All true. Sometimes I'd see his name pop up online again, short bursts of self-pity dressed as accountability. A new account, a new caption, always the same theme. Everyone betrayed me. I'm rebuilding. But the world had moved on, and so had I. Jenna and Kyle told me they'd run into him once at a gas station outside the city. He was wearing an old cap, unshaven, loading paper bags into the back seat of his mom's aging car. He'd looked up, seen them, and quickly looked away. He didn't even recognize himself, Jenna said softly. I believed her. Because that's what happens when you live your life as a performance. You lose track of the real version somewhere backstage. As for me, I found something real. Nathan and I had been together 4 months now. Nothing flashy, no grand declarations, no curated moments. Just quiet, honest days that actually meant something. We cooked dinner together on weeknights. He'd read me lines from whatever novel he was obsessed with that week, and I'd tease him for being dramatic. He'd laugh and pull me close, saying, better dramatic than dull. Sometimes we'd go for brunch, ironically, the same restaurant where it all began. Today was one of those days. We sat near the window, the same spot I'd once watched Timothy's ego collapse. The hostess had changed, but the atmosphere was the same, warm, indulgent, sparkling. When the waiter brought the check, Nathan reached for it before I could. My turn, he said with a grin. You got it last time. No, really, I can. He shook his head. Elena, we split everything fairly. That's our rule, remember? And there it was, so simple, so ordinary, yet everything Timothy had never understood. Partnership wasn't about power, it was about balance. I smiled. Fair enough. As Nathan handed over his card, the hostess passed by, and that's when I saw it. Framed discreetly near the counter, half hidden by a plant, was a photo. Timothy Johnston. Underneath a note in small print, please verify payment method before seating. I nearly laughed into my mimosa. Nathan raised an eyebrow. What's funny? Nothing, I said, biting back a smile. Just old memories. He reached for my hand. Good ones or bad ones? I looked at him, his eyes warm and steady, and smiled. Necessary ones. Outside, sunlight bounced off the glass like a spotlight on a brand new stage. But this time, I wasn't performing. I wasn't an audience member in someone else's drama. I was the writer of my own story, and for once the story ended with peace, not revenge. Timothy used to say women lined up for him. He was right in a way. They lined up to leave once they saw who he really was. As for me, I stopped standing in anyone's line. Because sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't watching them fall.